In the kingdom of Eldoria, where ancient forests whispered secrets to the wind and dragons slumbered beneath snow-capped peaks, the House of Valoria stood as a pillar of unyielding power. Their castle, Etherhold, rose from the cliffs like a crown of obsidian and silver, its towers piercing the clouds. Lady Alara Valoria, only daughter of Duke Harlan Valoria, had lived her 18 years within those walls, a bird in a jeweled cage. Ilara was beauty incarnate, hair the color of midnight spun with starlight, eyes like storm-tossed seas, skin pale as moon-kissed marble. Yet her life was scripted by others. Her father had arranged her marriage to Prince Thorn of the neighboring realm of Drakmor, a union to seal an alliance against the rising shadow of the necromancer Lord Malachar, whose undead legions gnawed at the borders. The betrothal feast was tonight. Servants bustled through the great hall, hanging tapestries of silver roses, the Valoria sigil. Ilara stood before her mirror, clad in a gown of sapphire silk that felt like chains. Her maid, old Mira, fussed with the laces. "You look like a goddess, my lady," Mira said softly. "I look like a sacrifice," Ilara replied, voice flat. She had overheard the whispers weeks ago. Prince Thorn was cruel, ambitious. Rumors spoke of his hidden appetites, of maids who vanished after entering his chambers. Her father dismissed them as slander. The alliance mattered more than her happiness. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in blood, Ilara slipped away from the preparations. She needed air, needed to breathe before the noose tightened. She climbed the hidden stair to the eastern tower, the one overlooking the whispering woods. The wind carried the scent of pine and something sharper, smoke, leather, steel. A shadow detached from the parapet. Tall, cloaked in black wool, hood drawn low. A gloved hand clamped over her mouth before she could scream. Strong arms lifted her as if she weighed nothing. "Quiet, princess," a low voice murmured against her ear. "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to save you." The world tilted. Rope bound her wrists. A cloth gag followed. Then darkness as a sack dropped over her head. She kicked, thrashed, but he was iron strong. Hooves thundered below, horses waiting in the courtyard shadows. They rode hard through the night, the castle alarms rising too late behind them. Ilara awoke to the crackle of fire and the smell of roasting venison. She lay on a bedroll in a small cave, wrists unbound but ankles tied to a stake. Moonlight filtered through vines at the entrance. The kidnapper sat across the flames, hood thrown back. He was younger than she expected, perhaps 25, with sharp features, dark hair tied back, and eyes the color of storm clouds. A scar ran from his left temple to jaw, old but stark. He wore simple leather armor, a long sword at his hip, a dagger in his boot. "You're awake," he said, tearing a chunk of bread and offering it. She glared, refusing. "My name is Rowan Blackthorn," he continued. "Former captain of the King's Shadow Guard, disgraced, exiled, and currently your only chance at surviving the next moon." Ilara spat out the gag he'd loosened. "You expect me to believe a word from my abductor?" "Believe what you will, but Prince Thorn isn't your betrothed. He's your executioner." She laughed bitterly. "My father would never." "Your father is desperate. Malachar's forces breach the borders daily. The alliance requires a blood seal. Thorn demanded your hand, and your death on the wedding night. A tragic accident. Poisoned wine, perhaps. Your lands pass to Drakmor. Your father keeps his throne a while longer." Ilara's stomach twisted. Lies. Rowan pulled a folded parchment from his cloak. The royal seal of Drakmor gleamed. He tossed it to her. She read. Her blood chilled. "The girl must not survive the consummation. The Valoria line ends with her. Payment upon confirmation." Her hands shook. "Why tell me this? Why not let it happen?" "Because I swore an oath to your mother, years ago." Ilara froze. Her mother had died when she was 6. Fever, they said. "Lady Seraphina discovered Thorn's plot against the crown long before your betrothal. She tried to warn your father. He wouldn't listen. She came to me instead. I was her sworn blade. When she died, poisoned, I believe, she made me promise to protect you if the time came. Rowan's voice cracked just once. I failed her once. I won't fail you. They rode at dawn, 2 horses stolen from a border patrol. Rowan kept her unbound now, trusting her not to flee, or knowing she had nowhere to go. The woods were alive with magic. Trees shifted paths, illusions of monsters flickered at the edges of vision. Rowan navigated by instinct, avoiding fairy rings and will-o-wisps. Alara learned his story in fragments. He had been a commoner elevated for bravery, then framed for treason when he questioned the king's dealings with Thorn. Banished, he lived as a mercenary, gathering proof of the corruption. "Why not expose them openly?" she asked one night by the fire. "Because power protects itself. Your word against a prince's? They'd call you mad, lock you away. Better to get you out than strike from the shadows." They evaded patrols for days. Once, Thorn's men cornered them at a river ford. Rowan fought like a demon, sword flashing, arrows deflected with impossible precision. He took an arrow to the shoulder, but killed 3 before the rest fled. Alara bandaged him in silence, fingers trembling. "You could have died." "I've died a dozen times already," he said. "One more wouldn't matter." They reached the Vale of Echoes, a hidden valley guarded by ancient wards. A rebel enclave, outcasts, mages, disgraced knights, lived here, plotting against Malachar and the corrupt courts. The leader, an elven archmage named Lyrian, greeted them coolly. "You bring the Valoria heir. Bold." "She's the key," Rowan said. "Her bloodline holds the last fragment of the Silver Crown, an artifact that can banish Malachar's curse forever." Alara stared. "What?" "Your mother hid it in you," Lyrian explained. "A blood seal. Only you can wield it. That's why Thorn wants you dead. Malachar promised him power if the crown is destroyed." Ilara felt the weight of destiny settle like chains anew. But different chains. Weeks passed. Alara trained. Sword, bow, basic spellcraft. Rowan was her teacher, patient yet demanding. One evening, under starlight, she asked, "Do you hate my father?" "I pity him," Rowan said. "He traded his daughter for a throne he'll lose anyway." She touched his scar. "This, from the betrayal?" "From the king's torturer. I escaped." She leaned closer. "Thank you for coming for me." Their eyes met. Something shifted. Enemies to allies, captor to protector, perhaps more. Word came. Thorn marched on Etherholt, claiming Alara's rescue as treason. Malachar's undead followed. Rowan and Alara led the rebels back. The battle raged at the castle gates. Alara faced Thorn on the battlements. He sneered. "You should have stayed in your cage, princess." She drew the silver crown from within, glowing, awakened by her blood. "I choose my own cage now." Light erupted. Undead crumbled. Thorn fell, screaming as shadows consumed him. Her father knelt before her. "Alara, I was wrong." She placed a hand on his shoulder. "You can be right now. Step down. Let the realm heal." Months later, Ilara ruled as regent, reforms sweeping the kingdom. Rowan stood at her side, not as captor, but consort. One quiet night, she asked, "Was it worth it, kidnapping me?" He smiled, scar softening. "I'd do it again. Every shadow, every mile." She kissed him under the silver roses blooming anew. In Eldoria, the bird had flown free and chosen her own sky.